This is TWiT.
Hey, Club Twitters, how are you today? I can call you that now because there is no such thing as Twitter anymore. So there. Hello, Club Twitters. Ha ha! Members of the club, it's so nice to see you. This is the time we do the photo show with Mr. Chris Marquardt from Tips from the Top Floor and the Viewfinder Villa and regular.
The future of photography.
And the future of photography, which I am going to, while you're talking, I'm going to put that logo in the corner instead of the Tips from the Top Floor. Although that looks pretty good. It ain't bad.
The advantage of the future of photography is that it's an active podcast that comes to you once a week together with my friend Alan and with Jeremiah Chechik, who is a Hollywood director.
Ooh.
So
you talk about movies too.
No, it's photography. It's photography. He's the director of Christmas Vacation. You know him.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yes.
Oh, he's like a big
We talk
shot.
about photography once a week.
Oh, that's cool. You know, cool. The Academy Awards were this week, and I was thinking, cinematography, which there is an Oscar for, really is a wonderful art. And I think that people think the director is the most important or the movie star is the most important. But honestly, I think the cinematographer is really vital to the whole process. And when I go to a movie, I look at the cinematography. I very much look at the cinematography.
Yes. I mean, the director has the vision and the timing and the what goes where, but the cinematographer, the DP, director of photography, is the person who makes it come to life.
That's the important. Yeah, and honestly, some of my favorite motion pictures, it's really about the cinematography.
Oh yes. I'm
thinking of The Brutalist, which should have won a Best Picture last year. Which cinematography is incredible. This year, I'm trying to remember who won. I think Frankenstein won for cinematography, and it was amazing for cinematography. But so was Train Dreams. I thought it was beautiful. And so to me, a lot of times, maybe it's because I love photography, but the cinematography is what brings me to a movie. I think about The Godfather, and the cinematography in that is amazing. And they dragged the film through tea to give it a kind of yellowed, stained look, and it was the final negatives after they'd been shot. So it's an extraordinarily risky thing to do.
I'm sure it's that risky. I guess they did tests and figured out how dangerous it really is.
Oh,
it does things, but that's kind of the purpose.
Make you a little nervous. Nervous.
It wouldn't make me nervous at all. Oh, not at all, but that comes with working with film and knowing what it can handle.
All right, here we go. I am going to, just because you said it, I am going to debut for the first time ever. Let me go full screen so you can see it. Your brand new logo. What did I call it? What's the name of the show? The future
of photography.
Photography.
Or TFOP.
That's what I call it. Oh, it's not in there. What is it?
And it's not even brand new. It's been around for 5 years now, I think. 5 years.
I know. What did I call it? Maybe I named it something different. What did I call it?
TFOP. TFOP.
Or maybe I didn't save it there. Let's go back. Oh, maybe I saved it as a TIFF or something. One more. Oh, I was so proud of myself.
Watch Leo fighting TIFF files.
I was gonna like, ta-da! Let's see, export into a ping.
Make it dazzling.
It's a ping, and it's going to be called dazzling. TFOP. It's going to be right here. Save. Now let's try that again.
It's our little photo robot.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
The future of photography.
TFOP.
TFOP. Yeah. It's those I choose names by names, but not by the acronym. And I think that's a wrong order.
Clearly choose by acronym, don't I?
TTF. I mean, who comes up with stuff like that?
Yeah. And you've been stuck with that forever.
Yes.
Well, I called that one Chris because I couldn't. But now that's going to be in the left, so we get them both. How about that?
Oh yeah, and now you crop the image, and now both are
Perfect.
gone again.
Perfect.
There we go.
Now, that's not what people are here for.
Nope, that's not what people are here for. People are here for having their pictures dissected.
Oh,
by us.
I thought we were here to demonstrate DLSS. Here, Chris, real quickly, we'll get one of our AI guys in the club to DLSS5 us so that we look good. Go ahead. Let's just pose. Okay. In moments, the Discord will be filled with handsome images of you and me, unless everybody's sleeping.
And
So today,
DLSS will do that in real time, right?
that's the whole idea.
That's
It turns
the idea.
everything dazzling, or it's kind of the sexy filter, and it's been very controversial.
Yeah, and I'm not a video guy. I just heard of it, and it's
a video game.
Creeps me out a bit, you know.
Yeah, it should. I think it should. It certainly really annoyed all the gamers who said, that's terrible. We don't want that. It's kind of uncanny valley's part of the problem, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in moving pictures and in stills. I mean, we all now have a bit of a radar for, is that AI slop, isn't it? And it's getting harder. But in video, I think it's still relatively easy to see if this if something has been
for the time being
modified. For the time being,
who knows how long we have? Let's look at our dazzling images, not our dazzling deep fake, but our dazzling.
We had
images.
a whopping 3 submissions this week.
3.
Yes.
Well, now Anthony Nielsen and I were at Cape Canaveral in Florida, looking at rocket ships, and Anthony kept saying, "Okay, look for dazzling pictures." And I thought, well, gosh, Cape Canaveral shouldn't be hard. But
Anthony submitted one, so one of the
he?
3 is Anthony. Yes,
I did my homework.
Yes.
Well,
you did. We didn't.
I feel like I should recuse myself generally from these things. Here we are in the photo group, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
But that also means that every single one of those,
every one
will
of
be
you
looked
gets
at
picked.
here.
Let's
There
start
we
with
go.
Anthony. Should we start with Anthony's?
Nope.
Even
Let's
though-
start from the right. Let's start from the right.
Oliver in the snow. Oh,
Oliver in the snow.
Oliver.
And I've looked up dazzling because, you know, the translations of words into German, dazzling has like at least 5 different meanings. They're somewhat not the same. So
It's a German word, dazzling.
no, it's not. No, it's not. But it translates to shiny and powerful and sparkly. And
I think generally in
bright.
English we think of it as blinding light is dazzling. It's when you come out from the dark into the sun, you've been dazzled.
That's the interesting thing about this photo, because it is not that.
That's not that. Maybe this guy's German.
I don't think so. But I think dazzling can also be the thing on your inside. You know,
my inside's
maybe
dazzled by
maybe
my
that car is the one and only car that person loves, and therefore that's a dazzling car.
It's beautiful.
So it can be meta. It can be something.
The snow was dazzling too.
Snow was dazzling too.
And I do like it that he got the snow to be white. That is non-trivial.
That is not trivial unless you have a dark car in the picture. Then
Maybe that.
becomes
Yeah,
white.
the camera went. Oh, I know what I want to think about.
The camera knows. Cameras are way
know
too
better
smart
than
these
that.
days. Way too smart.
Well,
No
that's-
skill required
That's good.
anymore.
Thank you. Oh, Greg, I know Greg. Greg Bilton did that one on a Sony DSC camera, his RX100. Those RX100s are really nice cameras.
Yes.
That's speaking of
Yes,
point
they are.
shoots. Yeah.
All
Very
right.
nice. Thank you, Greg. What else?
Second image is
It's a
a pair of
mallard.
ducks.
You know what?
Jane
That is
McFarland.
dazzling plumage.
Dazzling male duck. So we see a male and a female duck, and of course, the male duck is the one with the dazzling plumage and the more showy off kind of bird.
So pretty. I love the iridescence that you see on some birds like peacocks and mallards. Really beautiful.
Yes.
Really, the sun is... See, that's kind of a dazzling emerald.
Well, I think it is. Especially with all the sunlight and everything.
Yeah. And speaking of dazzling...
And speaking of dazzling...
We want to thank Jane. Thank you. Oh, I know Jane too. Our regulars in the club. That's nice. Now, speaking of dazzling, let's go back and our very own McAnthony McSchnielsen.
There he is.
Submitted, and I know where he got this too. That is beautiful.
And it's an IMG_7610.
Oh, of course it is. I know
Obviously.
where he took this. This is from Gatorland in Orlando, Florida. And I even think I remember Anthony getting down on his haunches to take this picture of this beautiful flamingo.
And I just learned a couple of days ago in a YouTube short that the color of flamingo feathers, the pink color, is not genetic. It's from them eating fish.
It's from their diets, from their brine shrimp
in
diet.
the diet.
Yep.
And it seems well, what that video said, every bird with pink feathers, the pink comes from the diet.
Really? Because there's no pink in nature.
Apparently. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but it sounded very...
Isn't that the same with the salmon
rounded.
also? Like the...
Oh, really?
Yeah, salmon is the same, yes.
I think you're right, because farm-raised salmon is very pale unless they feed it stuff to me.
Unless they feed it color, which they do. So
Wow. Well.
there we go. Nice pink
Thank
tone,
you.
Anthony.
What are we going to do to get... okay, here is the DLSS version of... and thank you, Anthony, Anthony leaped in. So he gets 2 mentions in this show. Are you ready? This is you and me, baby. The DLSS versions of the photo show. Look at that. That's a good looking.
Now that's dazzling.
Actually, we look like those guys who hit themselves in the chads. We look like those guys who hit themselves in the cheeks with hammers. We've been look smaxed.
That's exactly what I prompted.
Did you say look smaxed?
Yeah.
That's what I look like
Leo
in the morning,
Chris.
looking in the mirror. That's exactly what I look like.
I like to suck my cheeks in.
During the day, it kind of all falls apart again, but in the morning when I get up,
That's how you look.
Yes.
Perfect.
Dude.
Thank you, Anthony. That's very funny. All right. Well, this was disappointing, I must say.
Yeah, a bit.
You know, I don't know about what's going on in Germany right now, but people in the United States are consumed right now with other things in their lives. Going on.
Us too here.
Yeah.
This.
And maybe they just weren't in the mood.
It's horrible
to take a dazzling photo.
Possibly. Let's find a different. Let's find something more suitable.
To the fishbowl we go, Chris Marquardt.
The problem is I don't really have anything sad in here because I
should
took
put
the sad
something
things
sad.
out. I took the sad things out to have nice things in there. You know, that's how you
cheer us
handle
up.
it.
Well, we don't want to take sad pictures.
I'm pulling. Oh yeah, this is going to be difficult.
Oh boy,
playful. We got to make a playful.
All right, look, we got to get out there, folks. I will commit. I will take and you are all invited to take a new picture every week for the next 4 weeks. Or you actually take more than one picture. Take many pictures looking for playful. And when you, he's being playful, sticking it on his forehead right now. And when you find a playful image, lick it. You got to lick it and then smack it. Yeah. When you find a playful image, one that you really like, each week you're allowed to submit one and one only. So pick the best one of the week and submit it to flickr.com, upload it to flickr.com. You can make a free account if you don't already have one. And then tag it. There's a nice tag feature in Flickr, and the tag this month should be TG Playful. That's so we know that this is your submission for that particular photo assignment. And then if you're not already a member, join the Tech Guy group. That's a wonderful place on Flickr for people who love photography. You know, I was reading a Reddit post, a sad Reddit post this morning by a photographer said, I used to post on Instagram, but it's just no good anymore for photography. Where do people post? And I wanted to say, Flickr's still here. There's even an app. If you know,
Flickr is even. I think they're even planning for a convention in.
They need to do something.
Fall. They're doing something. Mode.
Yahoo practically killed it, and I think that's what happened. And then, fortunately, SmugMug, the McCaskills bought it. Thank goodness. When they bought it, there's no TG Dazzling group. Let me go to my groups, and I'll show you our Tech Guy group. Here it is, the Tech Guy group. 14,000 members, almost 8,000 photos, and of course, our wonderful moderator, Renee Silverman, who takes your photos and puts them into the group. I think there might have been other Dazzling, but people didn't tag them, maybe? I don't know.
Possible.
There's some Dazzling photos for sure. Look at that. That's Dazzling. Anyway, we appreciate your photos. Once you get your photo, tag it TG Dazzling, upload it to the Tech Guy group. Renee Silverman, our moderator, will thank you for your submission.
And then, if you're on Flickr, click the info and streams link, and from there on, you'll find the instructions to make sure your pictures are tagged properly.
This is a new
everything in there.
Info and streams right there. It's in the description.
And then in there is a description how to submit a photo. There's a Q&A a bit higher up.
Good to know. Okay.
So everything's there. If you're not sure how to get your photo in there, that's the place to look.
Perfect. And thank you.
By the way, in the menu, there's a mode link. That is the festival Flickr's doing up on the top in the menu.
Oh, that's new there. Mode.
Yep. It was just announced.
Oh, in Minneapolis. Good place for that this fall. Photographers need something real. Oh, I couldn't agree more. A place to go. Show your photography. Oh, and there'll be some photographers there.
Yes.
There'll be a whole bunch of them. You can share, participate. I love this. Good for you, McCaskills. You know what? It's not easy resurrecting something from the dead. And Yahoo has pretty much killed Flickr, and the McCaskills have had it for a few years now. Now it's time to really bring it back. They've got great apps.
I think it's a good time with everything turning more and more virtual. That's a good idea to have that.
Yeah, mode. All right. Well, that was story number 1 in our
there we are
in our news, and we should again say. In fact, I will change the lower third to reflect this. That the new word is playful, and we will be before the show's over. We will give you a date. It'll be probably 4 weeks from today. We're kind of settling into that, if that works.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
News. We have a bunch of photo news. First one is for you, Leo.
Uh-oh.
Well, have you ever wished your Leica M lenses would be autofocus?
No.
No. Okay, then it's not for you.
Really? Because that's the whole the whole point. It's a rangefinder, right?
Right. And we're not talking Leica M lenses on a Leica camera, but we're talking Leica M lenses on Canon RF.
Ah.
So there's an adapter.
Is there an adapter that does that?
It's about to be released. I don't think the price is public yet. Yeah, so if you go to their website, there's a video a bit down. They have a whole system where they claim, I haven't seen it actually working. There's a rendered video.
So it has a little finger that it puts on the focus.
No,
knurl.
so that's not how they do it. That's not how they do it. It's motorized. It's a motor-driven helicoid. And what it does, is changes the distance of the lens to the camera.
So that's brilliant.
Forwards and backwards.
So it's like a little bellows almost. Oh, that's brilliant.
Sort of. And it apparently is it's completely integrated with Canon's dual pixel autofocus. It supports the subject tracking, the eye tracking, even aperture control from the camera. And it's supposed to be out in May. No price yet.
That's amazing.
If it works. I've only seen the announcement video. There's this article on Petapixel.
Look at that. It's a little bellows going in and out.
It is, yeah. I mean, that's what most lenses do anyway, right?
Would it be just as precise?
It's what most non-zoom lenses do anyway. They move the entire assembly in and out.
If it's a prime lens, that's how they focus.
I would think so, yes. It might be different with a zoom lens because those move elements in, not all of them in and out, but they have weird motion of the different elements inside.
That's why you have multiple rings and stuff on the...
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the reason being that Leica glass is widely considered to be superb, right? That's the theory. And so if you want to use this superb glass, especially since older Leica lenses are plentiful and they're just as good. Physics hasn't changed much. Electronics has, but physics hasn't changed much.
Physics hasn't changed. What has changed is the ability to make more precise lenses from a manufacturing point of view, from a software design point of view.
Grinding technology.
But also the design of a lens, the whole optical design is easier now because of the software support. But Leica still has an edge. I mean, you will, of course, pay for the brand if you buy Leica, but...
That's because they've got little German elves with emery, with diamond-encrusted cloths.
You know, the interesting thing is maybe 10, 12 years ago, I had a guy from Leica on a workshop, and he was there somewhere high up in the HR area, and that was during the difficult times for Leica when they were digitizing, when they were switching over from analog to digital.
Oh, it must have been.
And he said they have no clue how to do digital yet, but they are the best in the world for optics,
and that's what matters.
And that's they might not be the best in the world, but they are really among the good ones. So their ability to make glass that renders beautiful images is there, and that's
why you spend $8,000 for this. If you're crazy, you know, this. When I bought this was widely considered by many to be optically the best lens ever made. It's the 50 millimeter aspherical f2 Leica lens, and it's a beautiful, the APO Summicron. It's a beautiful lens.
Oh, and the way it renders sharpness and autofocus.
That's what's interesting. To me, it's the bokeh as much, as the sharpness. It's also is it possible the lens could impact the color? Because I feel like the Leica color is unique.
There is definitely something in the glass will impact the color. Glass can have a tint or influence a tint, such as a filter can, and glass does some filtering. So depending on what glass they use and what combinations.
It's not perfectly clear, even if it's perfectly clear, is what you're saying.
Yes.
And then the thing about a Leica is it has this thing on the bottom that you're supposed to put your finger on. And then it has you're not even looking through the lens here. You're looking through a little prism and you're lining up the vertical lines, which I think is quite precise.
And the interesting thing is the entire focal range is within like a third of a revolution around the lens.
Yeah.
So,
it has to be.
Or maybe even a quarter. So in very little space, you focus through the entire range of the lens. And that is...
Yeah. Has to be, I guess.
That is fast. So if you do street photography, if you do street photography, you can like almost autofocus with that thing.
Well, when you get good at the rangefinder, it's hard if you don't have vertical lines. There are some things you kind of have to go, where's a vertical line so I can focus?
But then some of that, I mean, with enough experience, and I'm talking 20 years of experience, you will probably, your finger will just go where it needs to go.
Well, I remember when I first picked up a rangefinder, and I think it was Malik or somebody said, here, you want to look at my Leica? And I said, I'm never going to use that. Why? That's so hard. Why would you want to do that to yourself?
it's a limitation. It's a creativity. No, it's also a creativity booster. By being limited, you're really goes into a different mode.
You're really thinking about what you're looking at. The other thing is, these have at least this lens and most of my Leica lenses, you have to be pretty far away. What do you call that? The
minimum focal distance.
The minimum focal distance is pretty long. It's I think it's what is it here? It's 0.7 meters. So that's 2 feet. You can't get up close to anything, you know?
I have the suspicion that if you, I mean, there are a lot of lenses that focus much closer.
Of course.
I have the suspicion that the close focusing lenses, that means you have to do some compromise in the lens design, and Leica is not making that compromise, and that's possibly why that minimum focus distance is so long.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Possibly.
I've also heard that you never want to open a lens up all the way because it's not going to be as crisp as somewhere in the middle of the range.
You know, Leo, if crispness is your goal, then yes.
Right.
But why does it have to be crisp?
See, I want the bouquet, and so that means
why does it have to be crisp?
Right.
There's a lot of portraiture that will benefit from not being too crisp.
And usually it's not the center that's not crisp; it's the outside, right? That's not.
But
crisp.
it's a stylistic choice.
Right.
It will give the picture a certain mood if it's not fully.
That's part of the ineffability of this camera. Is, you know, I guess if I were smarter, I could say, well, it's this, and this that makes a Leica look that way. But all I do is I go how it makes me feel, and I can tell there's something different about a photo. My favorite photos have all been taken with a Leica that I've taken have all been taken with a Leica. So
there you go.
It's worth it. The day I got this lens, or practically one of the very first photos I took with it many years ago, was of Lisa and her son and a hug. And it's to this day one of my absolute favorite photos. It's just, there's something about it. And
tools do influence how we feel about the things that we make with the tools. The tools do have an influence for sure. I've had new gear. I used to be that guy that told you don't need that new camera. It's not important. You can take pictures with a pinhole.
I wish you'd told me that.
Well, there's something true about that.
Why didn't you tell me that earlier?
On the other hand, the number of times I've picked up something completely new, and I had to learn my way around it, and I had to spend time with it and get acquainted with it. And that's a playful time because you have to play and experiment. And that takes you out of this very focused scientific mood. It has to be crisp and so on, and allows you to be more playful and get different results from
I would say it puts you back into the beginner mind.
Yes.
You know, when you're a child, everything is magical and new. And getting that feeling again is really worth $8,000.
I'm not sure it's worth $8,000.
It's not. But you did talk me into, and I'm embarrassed to admit this.
No. It takes two. I told you about it, but you let yourself be talked
It's the same. It's the same thing because I've always wanted a monochrome camera, and I couldn't really justify the very high price that Leica charges for its monochrome bodies. These are and Lisa asked me, "What? Just take a picture with your regular camera and make it black and white."
It's different.
It's a little bit different, not a lot. There's a subtlety.
It's that escape hatch that you don't have, and as the moment you don't have that, the moment you don't have this secret door that will allow you to go back to color if you want to, and it's not a real decision. It's if you
black and
take
white.
a picture with that camera, you've made a decision and you have to stick with it. There's no way around it unless you take crayons and paint it in afterwards.
So this, compared to the monochrome Leica body, this is the Ricoh GR4 monochrome, was cheaper, and it's a nice little pocket camera, which I like.
Cheaper than
not cheap.
Per.
It's nicely made. I mean, it's really it feels like a quality thing, but it's black and white only, and the images are beautiful. I was trying to describe it to her, and I told her it doesn't have the Bear filter, so you get another stop, and all the things that photographers say. But what it really feels like is you're taking a picture out of time. It's not in the real world, because the real world has color in it. Now you're taking an image and you're taking it out of its time. And it just feels different and looks different. You look at different things in the picture. You look at different elements. You're not looking at the colors.
Colors can be a real big distraction.
Sometimes you want color.
Distraction out.
If you're taking distraction out, if you take color
out.
Yeah, but when you're taking pictures of people's faces, this is great. Right?
So yeah, I envy you for that camera.
You don't have to envy me. I'm happy that I was able to spend some of my retirement. And I apologize to my kids who will not inherit this. They'll inherit the camera, though.
That might be worth something.
Daddy's spending your inheritance, kids. All right. I'm sorry.
All right.
Let's move on. What else?
Next news item, away from Leica. AI, generative photography is a thing. And it's becoming better and better. And the better it gets, the more it becomes important that we find a way to mark images as human-made, right? So
yeah, even black and white can. I saw the other day a video made by AI that was to look like black and white vintage black and white film, and it was. So that wouldn't you can't just say, oh well, that's too old and old-fashioned. No,
of course not. It's
it's
getting harder to tell apart, and that erodes trust in photography. You used to have a photo used to be a source of trust, and it's no longer. So there's a couple of initiatives. One is the Content Authenticities
We've
initiative.
interviewed the people behind that, and it's on this camera. It's on this
It's called Content Credentials, and it signs the picture cryptographically when you take it. And then the thing is, there's a tool chain, and the tool chain means you put it into Photoshop or Lightroom or wherever,
and that gets stripped right out.
and the problem is that those signatures and the metadata and stuff gets lost. So the more pieces of the chain that photos typically go through support content credentials, the better. And one important piece that professional photographers have used in the longest time is called photomechanic.
I use this. I have a license for this. I like this.
Yes.
So this is an intermediate step that you would use between taking the picture and importing it into Lightroom or Photoshop. You'd use photomechanic as your raw picture.
It's a way to filter and sort and tag and work on some of the metadata, and then you import it into Lightroom or whatever you use. And it's very fast, and so professional photographers who have to dig through thousands of pictures at a time, that's their tool of choice. And they've just announced that they will support content credentials. So
fantastic, because
they will also modify your pictures by putting different metadata in and changing things around. So so that's a good sign, because one of the tools that almost all professionals use is getting support for that. So more pieces of the chain support content credentials, or will support it.
This is great. It might make me come back to photomechanic, actually. I started using it because Lightroom was so slow when you're trying to go through a bunch of raw files. And so photomechanic is a very quick way to go through your photos and rank them.
And if you shoot, I don't know, hundreds of photos a day, if that's your job, then that becomes a time factor. If you only do that like every once in a blue moon, then it's not as important. But if the time is money in that regard. So,
well, or if you're a spray and prayer like I am,
there's nothing wrong with that. So you have lots of photos. You want to weed out the bad ones quickly. You want to tag them. You want to rate them. So in that chain, we have now another piece of the puzzle.
Good. Because already Lightroom supports that and Photoshop support that, right? They support credentials. Yes. So now you can use photomechanic, as one often does, in conjunction with those tools. And you won't lose your credentials. That's good. I like it.
Yeah. Next up, Capture One.
Another tool that I use. Yes.
Another image editor that photographers use as an alternative to Lightroom, because Lightroom Classic used to be the big one, and Capture One has taken up some of that market.
It's Adobe Camera Raw is still probably, I don't know, what do you think, the best? So many of us shoot in RAW. You know, when I shoot on a Leica, it's a DNG file. On a Canon, it's CR1. Those RAW photos have all the data, but they don't have any rendering. There's no way to look at it. So you have your tool has to have a way to render it so that you can see it. And different photo RAW renderers have different results. Do most people still agree that Adobe's is the best, or is that up for debate?
I think it's a matter of taste, and the differences are not huge. They're
Capture
not like
One has its own workflow, which is quite good.
Yes.
Yeah,
they do. And the thing I want to talk about right here is something that does not really. I think the color is not the big thing here, but the workflow is the big thing here, because if you're a film shooter, it was always a bit of tool hopping. Especially if you use Lightroom, because Lightroom doesn't natively do negative conversion, right? If you shoot film, you have a negative, a color negative, or a black and white negative, and you'd have to convert that on the outside of Lightroom in a separate tool and then import it, because Lightroom would.
So what were you using to convert? Because you shoot a lot of film. What were you using to convert?
Something like Photoshop or Affinity Photo,
right.
Or conversion.
I mean, when I was using film, I would bring it to photo processing, and they give you a CD.
You can do that as well, yes. Yeah. But I scan.
You want control,
photos.
Yeah.
So the thing is, Capture One has just announced native handling. Oops. Was it gone here for a second?
Back. Yep.
Am I
native
back? Okay, sorry.
Something handling, but I think it meant native film.
Film handling.
Yes.
Native scan handling. So they have this entire workflow now where you photograph. You take a macro lens, you have a copy stand, you have a backlight, and then you photograph your negatives. That's the way most people do it these days. Tethered mode, so
that's interesting. Wow.
It goes straight into Capture One, and then in Capture One you would do a white balance, a crop, and then there's a new button, and it's called Convert Negative. And what that will do is it will invert the negative, and it will invert color negatives with good color. That's the key thing. Inverting a black and white is just an inversion, but if you go into, let's say, Photoshop and you invert a color negative, you get a weird magenta cast on it. No, not even magenta, cyan bluish cast on it, because a color negative is not just an inversion, it needs color processing. And Capture One has that now built in, so you don't have to tool hop. You can stay in this one tool. You can do every single step of your negative conversion in Capture One, and it's non-destructive, as it should be. So your raw file is still your raw file. You can go back, you can undo everything, and it stays that way. So the whole negative conversion is just a processing step on top, as opposed to what I'd have to do with Lightroom, do an external conversion and then import it into Lightroom.
Capture One is probably the closest replacement to Lightroom, right? Or maybe, is that true?
Yeah, I would think so. I haven't really spent a lot of time with it, but from all I've seen is it's a pretty good replacement.
Use, as far as I could tell, was for tethering. So if you're shooting in a studio, especially if you're doing a model shoot, if you're doing a commercial shoot for a magazine or a client, you want to tether it to a computer so that you can see the images right away. The client can watch as you're taking photos. And so a lot of people, I think that was I guess you can do that in Lightroom, but a lot of people were doing it in Capture One. fact, the name kind of implies that's what's really going on. But now their processing tools are just as complete as Lightroom or Photoshop. Very powerful tool. I have a Capture One license. In fact, it came with my Sony's, just for use with Sony RAWs.
Yeah.
So this is the guy. This is his photo enlarger he's using to take pictures of the negative. Wow. And so that's interesting.
And that's how you do it these days. So Capture One is now. If I was a film photographer, Capture One would probably be my first choice, given the feature set now.
I don't know if they're a subscription model. I think you pay outright, but they update it regularly, so it might as well be a subscription model. You have to always buy the new version. People just hate what Adobe's done. They just really hate it.
And it shows in Adobe's current stock price. So they're not doing too good.
That's too bad. They really wanted to do that.
People don't like being treated that way. So
no, yeah, understandably. And Lightroom has its flaws. It's slow. It's not very fast. And then they forked it into 2 different versions, which was a really weird thing to do.
And the main reason I'm still with Lightroom Classic is that there's like there's like 17, 18 years of metadata.
Oh yeah, right.
And edits. So getting that out into something else is possible in some ways, but that's quite a lock-in. Quite a tough one.
Yeah, that's probably why they haven't killed it. I'm sure they would much prefer you to use Lightroom CC.
Yeah, that's not.
But because that, and you know what they're really selling with that is cloud storage, which I think, I don't know. I think I understand photographers' unhappiness about it all. Anyway, what else?
Let's talk about an interesting looking camera. So a few weeks ago, we had the CP Plus photography show in Yokohama, in Japan.
I'm glad I didn't know about that.
And one of the interesting things here, that I found interesting, is that Canon showed 2 camera prototypes. One they even had out for people to play with. A pretty rough prototype. And there's no idea. I haven't heard anyone talk about if this will become a camera or not. If you open the link and look at the camera, tell me what that reminds you of.
This is funny because this is what car makers do at auto shows. They show concept cars.
This is not a concept camera. This is an early prototype. It's not even on a concept level yet. That's the interesting thing. It's rough.
It's rough.
And
it looks just like a Hasselblad.
That's exactly what I said. It's a waist level viewfinder camera.
You shoot it, you hold it at your waist, and you look down through the viewfinder from above.
You do, and
like
then it has some mirror in. They showed 2 different prototypes with a different outside design, I guess. And they had a tethered one, and photographers. There's several videos out there, and people play with it. I have no idea about the details of
who uses this. Is this studio photography, portraiture?
I have the feeling from what I've seen that this is not a high level thing that they're building, if they're building it at all. I don't know if it will become a product. It drew quite a crowd.
Oh, I bet.
Because a company like Canon would typically not show something as early in the development. It feels like, from what I've seen and from what I've heard people say about it, it seems to feel more like on a toy camera level.
Is this kind of a meme camera, is what you're saying? This is for the kids? Possibly. I could see the kids. I mean, they're all into this kind of retro feel, aren't they? I could see the kids being interested in this.
Possibly. I don't know. I don't think Canon will try to compete with Hasselblad on a medium format level. I don't think that's what this is. But it certainly has the look and the feel of it, and the waist level viewfinder. I mean, that's for a lot of, especially younger photographers, that's a novelty. That's something they've only seen in old documentaries and So this is I think there's something cool about that.
Yeah.
If it becomes a product.
Well, of course. And I bought a Rolleiflex just because I wanted to get that experience of shooting from the
and then you always have trouble getting it level because
really
it moves in the
do.
different direction.
You got to get used to it. Yeah.
Takes practice.
But some of the greatest photographers in the world have used those. And then, of course, Hasselblad made these very high-end medium format cameras this way. And in fact, there was the camera they used on the moon.
And choosing and using a camera like that actually changes the pictures you get, because first of all, you photograph from a different level, not from eye level, but from belly button level.
Yeah.
So it's a lower perspective. And then what you also get is a lot of the time you get people not looking at the camera, but looking above the camera, because they will look at your face.
Yeah.
And that changes the kind of
I used
the feeling of the pictures.
my Rollei once at Christmas, and exactly what happened. It was kind of a disaster, and I developed their film because it was a film camera, and I thought, well, this has been an interesting experiment. It seems like a good idea, but maybe the kids, they look at like lomography. They like the instant, cameras. They like these kind of weird, oddball, old formats. So maybe this is for the kids.
And if you look at the photos of Vivian Maier, which is a street photographer who was rediscovered years ago, she shot with a Rolleiflex a lot, and her photos just show that all the time, that people look above the camera.
But in a way, that's kind of what she was going for, right? We don't know what she was going for. Actually, it was kind of an odd.
She was a bit of a recluse. With the photography.
I suspect that she liked that kind of weird look of it. Unfortunately, her sight's down, so I can't show you her pictures.
It's a bit of a candid style of photography, because people will not connect the camera that you have in your hand with you.
There's a very famous shot of her reflected in a window. And you see she's shooting it from waist level. Here's a picture of her with her actual camera.
There you go.
Yeah.
She took a lot of selfies.
Yeah.
Before we called them selfies.
She invented the selfie.
Yeah.
The story about her, if you haven't read it, is fascinating.
It's very fascinating.
Somebody found all these photos in an attic. She never was known in her time, and yet amazing photos.
Right.
So maybe this new Canon will create a whole new Vivian Maier.
Possibly. Let's stay with film.
Yes.
For a second, or with something that is akin to film, and that I found very funny, because it's not a thing. So Petapixel had an article about a company called Polar Pro who makes a filter, and they call it the Portra filter.
Oh, after the famous Portra film.
They claim that their Portra filter makes photos look like they were shot on Portra film.
Which is a Kodak film, right?
It's a Kodak Portra is a color negative film, a very nice rendition of colors and contrast and so on. And it's a desirable film, a desirable look to shoot. And Petapixel had an article about it, and then the comments were kind of not as positive, and then they had a second article, that's the one you have open right now, where they cover some of the critique. Because if you look at the results from their Portra filter, which claims to emulate a Portra look, and you look at actual Portra film, which you can find a few examples further down on this page. So these are what you see here are the pictures that are supposed to look like Portra, and now scroll a bit further, and this is what Portra looks like.
Portra's much richer, not hazy.
It's a very different look. Yeah. So it's kind of funny that they are selling you a filter that supposedly emulates Portra, but it does not at all. It's a very different kind of filter.
dreamy, not Portra.
Have you heard of Pro Mist filters?
No.
So there's a
kind of what this
type of
looks like,
filter
huh?
that will raise the blacks. It will make everything slightly misty looking.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it
Portra
looks
is
like.
more Technicolor, right? It's more.
It is more
vivid.
technical. It's more vivid. It's more contrasty.
Yeah.
More saturated in colors. Completely not what they claim.
I like the Portra look. I mean, it's a
Portra
beautiful
is.
look.
It's also
is a
nice for
little
portraits.
dreamy. Yeah.
It's also nice for portraiture.
Yeah, people like it
So-
for portraiture because it's not so detailed. So it doesn't
So the
bring up all
question
the wrinkles.
is, can a filter emulate the look of a film? And the answer is no, it can't.
But you pointed
Not
out a
at all.
filter can change the look quite a bit, right?
It will, but it's not doing that. You can't have Portra look by just putting a filter on your camera.
Okay.
That's wishful thinking. That's wishful thinking. Go get some actual
Get
Portra.
some film.
Get some medium format Portra. Put it in your Hasselblad. Take some.
Is it only medium format Portra?
No, it comes in different.
They have 35 millimeters.
Different sizes, yeah. And then if you want to edit your photos, here's the next one. Canva. You know Canva?
I do.
They
We just talked to their evangelist, actually.
There you go. Photo. I don't know. It's not a photo
It's a
editor.
design
it's a
website. It's for
a design
designers.
website,
Yeah.
and everything runs in the browser. And they have just introduced a feature that I found interesting, and it's called Magic Layers. So what do you do if you get a photo, just a plain flat photo that has people on it and text and foreground and background and so on, and someone asks you to change something? You have a hard time taking everything apart, right? You have ways to remove the background. Yes, you have ways to extract people from a photo, but it's all single steps. What they now do is they automatically make your photo into layers.
That's amazing if it can do it really well.
I've played with it. I've tried it. Yes, it does work. And it's better than I thought it would be. So
This is basically AI at work, huh?
a lot of it.
Yeah.
And if you have text on that text gets turned into editable text.
What? Editable?
It's not just the text
In the same font?
bit close enough, I guess.
That's pretty cool.
And now you can drag and drop that person more to the left and that cactus more to the right and that building, make it a bit taller, change the
You can see
text and
designers
so
would
on.
love this.
It
Canva.ai.
takes 100 steps of skillful editing out of this thing and makes it
Yeah.
easy for you to work with.
Otherwise,
So
you need razor blade and glue.
that's even earlier. Yes, that was how it was done. Yes, totally.
Wow.
Totally. I remember a friend of mine. He's a video editor. He had like when you would edit some documentary and you'd have some old photos that you would put in the documentary. Just showing a flat photo was boring. So what he would do is he would cut out the person in the photo, fill in the background, put that whole thing in After Effects on different layers,
And move it.
then just have a slight parallax motion and
Bring it
and
alive.
bring it alive, add some interest to this. But he spent hours cutting out people and filling in the background. This is just like drag and drop and done. So I guess we're looking at another part of the future of editing.
Yeah.
This isn't Canva. Others will do the same thing. That's a given.
Pretty cool.
They're the first one to have cracked that
Pretty cool.
good enough. Yes.
I think that's really neat, actually. Certainly a
It
lot
is.
better than having to do it by hand.
It is. And then last but not least, I brought a little interesting piece of film history. So there's a video that came out in 2003, and it's a skate film directed by Spike Jonze. And it is skaters in a skate park kind of thing, but their skateboards are invisible.
Oh, that's cool.
It's
That's
a very
cool
cool effect. This is 26 years old.
And how did they do it back in the olden days?
That's the thing. How do you do that? That's the interesting part of it.
Cool.
It's just wonderful to see them glide through the air on invisible skateboards and do jumps and slides and grind rails and stuff. The stuff you do
again with scissors and glue, right?
Not really. Not really. So someone has looked into that. And it's probably been known, but I didn't know about it. And I wondered how did they do it? Because it's very, very convincing. Turns out this entire thing is of course a production. It's not someone. It looks like someone has just shot some video. So they had green screen.
Oh, it's green skateboards.
The green skateboards. But what happens if you just have the green skateboards? Then you have holes in your footage if you cut that out. So what they used is, they used a motorized camera. So they would have the same camera motion twice, once without the skaters and once with the skaters.
So that's
so now you have the identical background.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is then take the skateboards out and make a composite of those two. Very brilliant. And again, 23 years ago. So I found this just an interesting bit of film.
Yeah.
Magic editing history.
That's very cool. Although
it's
2003, that's kind of that era they were doing stuff with motorized cameras. I remember going to NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters shows, and seeing virtual sets back in that time, from actually even earlier, because we were looking at it for Tech TV, so it would have been the late 90s or really early 2000s. And you can have a green screen background with a person in front of it, like a weather person, but you can't move the camera because the background won't move, but the person will. The parallax will change. So you need to have the camera slaved to the background so that when the camera moves, the background moves as well. Kind of a similar idea to this. So yeah, this was what people were doing around that time for a variety of reasons. But nowadays you got weather people standing on 3D renderings of the city and the rain's coming down and all sorts of stuff. We've come a long way in special effects, but back 25 years ago, this was state-of-the-art green screen and motion control cameras. They use motion control cameras to make Star Wars, actually.
True.
Yeah. That's how you did a lot of that stuff.
That's the news section.
Very cool news.
Let's look at a couple of questions. Do we have a few more minutes for
We sure do.
For
Take your time. Yes, absolutely.
All right. 3 questions.
I didn't mention that you can go to tfttf.com/PTQ. That's tips from the top floor, tfttf.com. PTQ is photo time questions. And now Chris with PTA.
We said this before the show, and now we're looking at, the PTAs, the answers. Paul Holder asking, is there any news or new state-of-the-art with regard to light field imaging? That one camera never really took off, but the idea seemed promising.
Oh, that was really big. Was that Foveon?
Lytro camera. They had this one camera that looked like a big lipstick kind of thing.
Yes.
And then the next one, the second one, was a bit more camera-ish looking.
That was really weird, wasn't it? And the idea was you were capturing images in multiple planes, right? Something like that?
Sort of, yes, sort of. And what you could do then, you could focus the image after the fact. So if you had the focus off, you could focus at something close in the image or far in the image. And the big problem with that and the technology is that while it was kind of promising, it also had one big problem, and that was resolution. Because they had I think 16 layers, and that means that 16... only a 16th of the resolution that went into the sensor, and that ended up not being that attractive. And then that feature of choose your own focus required a server that the pictures were on and a plugin on your web page that would then pull the images and display them. And it was never as useful as you thought it would be. And then later on there was the L16, which was another camera that promised something similar, and it had 16 cameras on the front with different focal lengths and a lot of smart mathematics behind it, a lot of calculation. That didn't really turn into anything that consumers would like using for a variety of reasons. So at this point, I'm not aware of any of this being something, but I think in the age of machine learning and AI, we might see something like that again. That might become a bit more interesting. But to be honest, it's like with your black and white camera. It's this make a decision, stick to it.
Yeah.
Don't move all the decisions to the end of the process. Try to put them in the front of the process. And
They call that focusing in camera. I like the idea.
Yeah. So it used to, initially I found it really cool, and I thought it was a very appealing thing to have. And then a friend of mine bought the first Lytro, and he used it for 20 minutes, and then
that's sad.
And then it sat on the shelf.
You can kind of
and
do that
collected dust.
now in computational photography with iPhones.
Yes, they are not doing it by actually changing the focus, but by well, there's a little of that, but
mostly it's defocusing.
It's
like everything's in
defocusing.
focused, and then
it's defocusing.
defocus.
You have a virtual autofocus area, and then you tap on something on the photo, and then everything in front of it and behind it gets machine learningly defocused.
It has its drawbacks as well,
and it's not perfect. And yeah, so
although machine learning isn't always bad. Sometimes it's quite good.
But can I have that photo?
Sometimes it speaks to the inner you. Now, I don't know what is going on here. I keep losing you. I'm going to add you to all of these. There we go. Now
I'm back.
He's back.
There we go. Yeah. Another question by MJ in Monterey Park.
Hi, MJ.
That's an interesting one. Where does AI start and digital artistry end? He writes, we use Luminar AI and Luminar Neo, but don't consider ourselves AI photographers. It's easier to work with than other programs such as Photoshop or PaintShop or GIMP. Tools have been improving for decades, but AI to us is bad faith art. It learns by stealing and consumes so many natural resources that could be used better. So I think there's a line between a tool, between AI as a tool and a generator. And it's about authorship.
Well, that's a very good distinction.
Right? Tool
versus generator.
And the problem is, in our discussion, we all throw this in the same bucket. It's the AI bucket. Now, as a tool, it makes things easier. And it's always been that way, that photography and later on digital art, they have always been evolved through new tools, better tools. And this starts early, like with an exposure meter. That was a new tool. And early photographers, an exposure meter was frowned upon. And then there came out something like autofocus. Do you remember the time autofocus came along in the 70s, late 70s? That was frowned upon by real photographers, in air quotes.
We had a Polaroid camera that had a sonar element at the top of it. It was very expensive. I remember my dad, who was, I guess, kind of an early gadget hound, bought it. And that was, as far as I know, the earliest I remember of autofocusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, retouching used to be, as you said, razor blades and glue and so on. And now it's a click of a button and you cleaned up your photo. So software, if software helps us refine the picture we took, the picture we saw, what we intended, then that is still our work. That's what I feel.
I can give you an example, actually, using Luminar. So if you use Luminar to take, you have a picture and beautiful blue sky in it, but you wanted the sky to be a little darker, you could use a tool to make the sky a little darker. But Luminar also has a tool to replace the sky.
Replace the sky, yes.
If you had a picture, as many of mine are, because you don't, when you're traveling, get to choose the sunshine, where it's a kind of overcast day, and you go, boy, it'd be so much better if there was a blue sky and puffy clouds. Luminar will let you do that. But that's not your image that you're putting in there. That's somebody else's photos of a
and that's
sky.
the thing, that the art, the digital artistry, let's call it that. I think it comes. There's a line somewhere where the system is not serving you and helping you improve things, but it's the moment it starts inventing content, the basic building blocks of your photo. When it makes these decisions for you, an aesthetic decision for you, that's when it ends. And that line is a not a hard line for everyone. That might be in a different place.
I mean, there are people who say, even as you say, I mean, our understanding has evolved that using a Photoshop on a picture is somehow not, that the picture should be exactly as it happened in the camera. But then wait a minute, because even then the camera has software in it that is changing the picture. The picture doesn't come into your camera in color, for instance, right?
And the interesting thing is, I mean, this is a very flowing kind of differentiation here, because I know an artist who uses Mid-Journey to create photography, but he doesn't just put a prompt in there and say, make a nice picture of X, Y, and Z. No, he spends like 5 hours on a photo, honing that prompt and deciding every single detail. And it's his photo in the end, because he spent time designing it with the help of these tools. So
I don't think it's helpful to reject it out of hand. I think it's very fuzzy now, the distinctions, and that's art. If it makes an image that's pleasing, that's art.
Right. And I think where it becomes, for me personally, becomes an issue is when you outsource the authorship, when you have someone else make creative decisions on your behalf.
Yeah, it's got to be your choice. But even then, tools are in a way outsourcing. I think a lot of times people judge art by how long it took or how much labor it took, which is not a good way to judge art.
I've had this often, even myself, and I'm actually writing a chapter for a book on that. We often confuse the amount of effort that went into a photo by how good a photo is. Like I could spend 5 hours climbing up a mountain, carrying my heavy large format camera and film, and it's early in the morning. I have to be there at sunrise, so I start at 5 a.m. and I'm up there and everything. That photo and we have been through a lot together. But
is it a great photo?
I like it a lot, but I like it the reason I like it is not because it's an amazing photo, but because of what I've gone through to get to this photo.
They call it the IKEA principle. Do you have IKEA in Germany?
Of course you do.
So the idea is you love your IKEA furniture because it was so hard to put it together. You have an investment in it.
and then I take my iPhone and I take a snapshot, and it's full of emotion and it's amazing, and it makes me cry when I look at it. Which is the better photo, right? We mix things up a lot in that regard.
Now, it's an interesting point that Paul, who was just asking that first question, brought up in our Discord chat. Hello, Paul, and hello, Club Twit members. Is that, in a way, photography is making, at least unconsciously in our mind, a kind of promise that this is an image made from life, that this is a capture of something that actually happened, but it never
used
really
to be
was
that way.
true. Yeah, I don't even know if it ever was that way, right?
Of course not. But
Oops.
Here we go.
I dropped and I came back. I'm back.
It's
not you, it's me. Actually, we don't know.
It's Restream.
It's Restream. It's not you, it's them. So that, I understand that psychologically we kind of think of photography as being a record of real life. I don't know if it ever really was.
People were doing like double exposures right from the beginning, right?
It was never. aren't they the Cottingley ferries? And
That's right.
Right.
lots of fabricated photography. But it used to be hard. That's the thing. It used to be hard to do these things. So they were somewhat rare, and the photo used to be a stand-in for this is truth, even though it wasn't, but it was close enough. And that's not the case anymore. So we're losing trust in photography, which we probably shouldn't have had in the first place. But I think it's just a matter of the times are changing, and we have to develop new antenna, new radars to figure these things out.
This is why I'm fascinated by AI, because it really moves the ground under our feet.
It does. It does. Yes.
And that is unsettling. As you know, if you've ever been in an earthquake.
I have at 6 a.m. and I woke up and thought, who's shaking my bed? And then I went back to sleep.
Earthquake?
I was 7 years old. Old.
If you're walking down the street and there's an earthquake, it is extremely unsettling because you expect the ground not to move.
Yes.
And when the ground moves, it shakes more than your body. It shakes your beliefs. It shakes your fundamental principles of the world. And AI is kind of an earthquake right now.
Then that's a great thing to end this show. No, we have one more question. One last question. Last question.
Yes.
And that is by our friends Demilente. And they ask, would it be possible to include monthly photos from Leo and yourself? It would be nice to see how you guys interpret the word as well.
We should show more of yours.
Ideas and examples of what could have been. In the radio days, back when this was on the radio, you would give tips like shoot through a paper towel tube for different perspective of things. We remember little things like that.
That's true. Yeah, you would do some fun stuff. Well, I showed a few pictures that I took, not necessarily the best pictures ever, but because, I don't know, was that during the show or before? I think it was before the show. So I'll do it real quickly right now because I got this new camera and I've been really enjoying, and this was just a walk I took the other day, taking black and white pictures. You mentioned it has a red filter, which I turned on because there's something, it's hard, it's a subtle difference. What
changes the contrast?
The contrast.
The sky goes darker.
Yeah.
Blue sky goes darker.
I like the red filter. So this is just on a walk that I took the other day, and I just had the camera with me, and I just took some pictures. But this is what I like about it, because this is a scene I've seen every day for the last 30 years of my life. But you see it a little bit differently. This is a missed picture. I wanted to get the guy and the dogs, but I kind of like the dogs coming down the street just by themselves, so I didn't throw it out. For some reason, somebody left some cymbals from a drum kit on the path. Okay. And then a mask hiding on somebody's stoop. I did this quickly because I didn't want them to catch me taking a picture of their front stoop. And then I kind of liked, and I think this is that red filter contrast, how the shadows and the light interplay. And that's what you see a lot more in black and white. You don't get distracted by color. And I kind of enjoyed that. So admittedly, my pictures are not your picture quality. I'm a duffer.
What is define picture quality?
You take great pictures. So
you'd be surprised if you looked into my Lightroom, the secrets of my Lightroom basement. There's so much bad stuff in there.
It's good to throw out the bad ones. You're seeing the raw stuff.
It's good to not show the bad ones. That's what takes an amateur and a professional apart, is learning to not show the bad ones.
Well, I'm showing all of them, good and bad. I like this one because this is right behind me right now, and it's something I see in color every day. But again, in black and white, you captures the light, and it's a different quality. So,
and it becomes timeless.
That's exactly what I said to Lisa.
Yeah.
These are somehow timeless. They're taken out of time and put into a different world, a monochrome world. So that's why it's kind of just gave me a new lease on life. That's the idea of new gear. It'll give you a new perspective on your photography.
And some motivation to go out and play.
And an empty wallet.
And we want to be playful.
Playful. I shall take some black and white playful pictures too this week, and we will put them on our Flickr. I hope you will too. You can upload a picture a week. We're going to be 4 weeks out When does that make the next show, Anthony Nielsen? So you have 4 chances. You upload them to flickr.com, tag them TG Playful, and then send them to the Tech Guy group. And make sure they're new pictures. We want you. The whole point of this is to get you out there taking new pictures.
April the 17th.
April the 17th. We shall reconvene.
I'm here. I'm here.
I will be here too. We will reconvene for another thrilling, gripping photo time with Chris Marquardt. You'll find Chris at discoverthetopfloor.com. I would have mentioned it's still all in Germany, yes?
It is.
Okay. As soon as he leaves his native land, we'll let you know if he's doing workshops elsewhere. And he's come to the States. He's traveled all over the world, Svalbard, Bhutan, for photo expeditions. And when you start doing that again, or even just the Christmas Marquards of Bavaria, we'll let everybody know. But you can find out ahead of time at discoverthetopfloor.com. He is Nubui on Flickr. If you want to see his photos, Nubui, Nubui on Flickr. He does upload. You still upload photos there, yes?
Occasionally.
Yeah.
I'm distributing things in different places these days.
My best photos, and I haven't uploaded anything lately, are all at leo.camera, which is a SmugMug site, the McCaskill's original site. Before they bought Flickr, they had SmugMug. And leo.camera has mostly travel pictures from my past. But I'm hoping maybe there'll be some black and white images being uploaded there soon. Actually, some of these are not so old. Some of these, and it even says if they're from the Leicas or whatever cameras. There's my mom. I do like black and white. This is though black and white with the color, taken out of it. And I think that this might have been even better had I had it the monochrome camera. So I shall.
Very nice.
There's another. These are all taken. We have a event in town called American Graffiti Days, and these are all taken at American Graffiti Days, which is a car show based on the American Graffiti movie, which was shot in Petaluma. And so that's an opportunity for me to take some fun photos like these. So these, and
that's
American
a really
Graffiti
nice photo of Lisa. I
Isn't
like
that
that.
nice?
Looking through something, framing her in that window.
Yeah, and it says it. You can't really read it, but it says enjoy the something. I can't remember, but yeah,
it's a strong photo. Very good.
Fun. It's fun. That's a Leica. And these are all. This is when I first. That's my mom. These are when I first, and I submitted this one way back when. When I first got, it's a fun photo of some of our local characters. It's, I love taking pictures, even if I'm not the best in the world. It's a very enjoyable. So leo.camera is where I put my best stuff. Thank you, Mr. Marquardt. What a pleasure
you for having me.
Talking about my favorite hobby with one of my favorite photographers. Next time, Playful. April 17th. We'll see you then, Chris.
Playful. See you then. Thanks.